Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation. The plot thickens about the secret Civil War gold dig. Is the FBI about to be caught in a lie? Let's explore! For those of you familiar with my channel, I have been covering this story. In fact, when the news first broke back in 2018, I did a video on it. Last year, there was an update, and now we have a further update about a lawsuit about a father and son treasure hunting duo. They have now sued the FBI over these very secretive Civil War gold dig videos. And this is news that just came out recently here, and this is by the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, through the Associated Press. But before we get there, there's another good article that kind of brings us up to date here from TheAtlantic.com, that will give us a little bit of background in case you don't want to go and see those old videos that I posted about it. But this kind of gives you some context and brings you up to date on where we are at on this story. The FBI was excited. That much seemed evident from the affidavit the agency lodged on March 9th, 2018, asking a court for permission to dig up the Pennsylvania hillside in search of Civil War gold. The affidavit related a story from a document titled The Lost Gold Ingot Treasure, which had been found in the archives of the Military History Institute in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. The tale, in its barest bones, was this. In June 1863, a caravan of Union soldiers transporting a shipment of gold through the mountains became lost. 3 men were sent to get help, and eventually one returned with a rescue party, which located the group's abandoned wagons, but no men and no gold. Teams from the Pinkerton Detective Agency scouted the hills. In 1865, 2.5 buried ingots were found, and later the bones of 3 to 5 human skeletons. The rest of the gold remains missing. So, well, something definitely did happen. There was evidence of it there. The affidavit also laid out how the story had come to the FBI's attention. A treasure hunter named Dennis Parada and had heard folklore alluding to the lost gold since he was a child, and had spent over 40 years searching for it. Now he and a team, including his son Kem, believed they had finally located it in an accessible at recess in a turtle-shaped cave near the community of Dent's Run. FBI agents had visited the site twice and ordered geophysical surveys that had detected something underground, something with a density of 19.5 grams per cubic centimeter, which is the familiar density of gold, and consistent with a mass having a weight of approximately 8.5 to 9 tons. In other words, the FBI believed it knew where an enormous hoard of gold was, and as soon as they could get their hands on a warrant, federal claims were coming to get it. Dennis and Kem Parada had been connected with the FBI several weeks earlier by a middleman. One day in November 2017, Warren Getzler, a former Wall Street Journal reporter, was browsing TreasureNet.com, where people interested in buried treasure gather to share theories and discoveries, and to discover themselves to one another's enthusiasm and scorn. That day, something caught Getzler's eye, a post by Parada, who identified himself as the lead of a small Pennsylvania-based treasure hunting group called Finders Keeper. Getzler was convinced that they needed to talk. Getzler wasn't interested in just any treasure. His focus was on a Confederate-aligned organization called the Knights of the Golden Circle. The existence of KGC is an established part of Civil War history, but its depth of influence Getzler believes it had, and its continued secret operation is not. Getzler believes the KGC hid hundreds of caches of gold from the south up to Canada, and that a significant number remains undiscovered. He co-wrote a book on the subject published by Simon & Schuster, Rebel Gold, One Man's Quest to Crack the Code Behind the Secret Treasure of the Confederacy. And since then, he has continued to look for evidence, and in the Dennis Run story, he thought he could spot clues and symbols that, to those who knew how to read them, were telltale signs of KGC involvement. And Dennis says that he was skeptical when Gettler approached him. He never heard of the KGC. We're thinking this guy was a nut job, he told me. I didn't know what he was talking about. I don't believe in it. And still, the men kept speaking and soon found common ground. So Dennis explained to Gettler the impasse the finders keepers had reached. The gold they believed they had located was on state land, so they need the cooperation of Pennsylvania's Department of Conservation and Natural Resources to act further. But DCNR and the Paradas had a long, complicated history and were currently at loggerheads. There was, however, a possible way forward if the gold could be shown to have been federal property, as a narrative and the historical documentation seemed to suggest. Then the FBI could step in and claim it for the United States government. So far, Dennis had failed to get his federal authorities interested, and Gettler offered to handle that. In Kim's telling, it happened like this. Mr. Gettler says, "Give me a day or two and I'll have you the FBI office." And within a day or two, he calls back, "I got you in the FBI office headquarters a meeting." So on Friday, January 26, 2018, the Paradas walked in with Gettler into the United States Attorney's Office in Philadelphia. And so they met with Assistant U.S. Attorney Newton and two agents from the FBI's art crime team. The following account of the meeting and their subsequent talks with the FBI is based off the treasure hunters' descriptions. The FBI declined multiple requests to comment on the details of these interactions. So apparently they reach out there, and this is their interaction. And there's a lot here when we're going to go through it all. But basically, you can see how this has kind of gotten complicated. And essentially, they began digging in there and apparently hid what they had shown there. So this gets us to what they had apparently videotaped there. So this gets us to the story of the day, where they had sued the FBI over these videos. So the FBI either lied to a federal judge about having video of its secretive 2018 dig for the Civil War era gold, or illegally destroyed the video to prevent father-son team of treasure hunters from gaining access to it. An attorney for the duo asserted in a new legal filings that alleged a government cover-up. The FBI has long insisted its agents recovered nothing of value when they went looking for the fabled gold cache, but Finders Keepers, a treasure hunting company run by Dennis Parada and his son Ken, who led agents to the remote Woodland site in Pennsylvania in hopes of getting a finder's fee, suspected the FBI found tons of gold and has made off with it. After Finders Keepers began pressing the government for information about the dig, the FBI initially said it could produce 17 relevant video files. Then, without explanation, the FBI reduced that number to 4. Last week, under a court order, the agency finally revealed that it said where the contents of these 4 videos, and it turns out all had been provided to the FBI by Dennis Parada himself, weeks before the dig, at a time when he was offering his evidence for buried treasure. The FBI did not say it had any videos of the actual excavation, which is what Finders Keepers is seeking. The treasure hunters say they have evidence the FBI indeed shot video of the dig, and they were seeking sanctions against the FBI for what their lawyer cast as a blatant bad faith effort to mislead. In other words, a lie. On March the 13th, 2018, Dennis Parada's hidden trail camera captured what appears to be an FBI agent in front of a video camera at the Hillside dig site, with other agents in the background. The trail cam image was included in a legal filing June 10th by lawyer Ann Weissman, who represents Finder Keepers in its Freedom of Information Act lawsuit against the government. The photos suggest either FBI was falsely claimed to have no other responsive videotapes, or the FBI illegally destroyed responsive videotapes in an effort to circumvent the FOIA disclosure requirements, Ms. Weissman wrote. She asked a judge to order the Justice Department to pay a portion of the finder keeper's legal fees and to compensate for the legal wrangling over the videos, and to hold the FBI accountable for covering up the results of its excavation. That highly advanced scientific technology indicated contained multiple tons of gold. A message was sent to the FBI seeking comment. The government's initial court-ordered release of documents in May included a geophysical survey commissioned by the FBI that suggested an object with a mass of up to 9 tons and a density consistent with gold was buried at the site. The FBI used consultants' work to obtain a warrant to seize any gold found at the site at Dents Run, about 135 miles northeast of Pittsburgh, where legend says an 1863 shipment of Union gold was either lost or stolen on its way to the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia. The agency has adamantly denied it found anything. The treasure hunters say the FBI has consistently stonewalled. And clever choice of words there. For the FBI to now say it has no videotapes of the dig strains credulity and takes the whole affair to the next level, said Warren Gettler, who has worked closely with finders keepers. We have incontrovertible photographic evidence of them videotaping the dig and interviewing their operational leader at the site. It raises a lot of serious questions. In addition to seeking legal fees, Ms. Weissman also asked the court to give finders keepers the ability to depose 3 FBI officials: Jacob Archer of the FBI's art crime team in Philadelphia, who oversaw the dig, the unidentified videographer shown in the trail cam still, and Michael Seidel, the FBI section chief for records dissemination. We want to answer 2 questions. Did the FBI create videotapes during the excavation? The picture certainly seems to answer that question, and if so, what happened to those videotapes? It seems to me there are people best situated to have that information. Ms. Weissman, a veteran FOIA lawyer who formerly worked at the Justice Department, said in an interview. Mrs. Weissman indicated in court documents that the Justice Department opposes both requests, that they very well may be getting close to being caught in a lie if that's the case. Pretty amazing. It is a pretty complicated story because obviously the finders keeper folks here did reach out to the FBI initially, but why would they be hiding this? What is the reason? What is the motivation? Because obviously these guys, I don't know what the how close that they would be in order to getting a share of that gold or maybe a reward of some level. But here is a photograph kind of the area where the dig was in March of 2018. Pretty amazing indeed. We'll see how this plays out. An interesting saga. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and remind you that I do post videos on a daily basis, and you can go back and watch some good videos I posted just yesterday. So I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.